This class is in memory of Jared Orchen. We will study today the prayer of rain, for rain. Page 355 in the prayer books.
It's a Pharisee and Sadducee. Pharisee and Sadducee.
What?
I was reading that too.
Then the prayer for rain is a prayer that we start to pray for rain from Shmini Atzeret until the first day of Pesach. We mention that God gives rain to the world. And we start, when the day we start to ask for rain, we do it with a whole prayer. And this is, we open the ark, and that's going to be actually Thursday morning. By the Musaf service, at the first time we're going to say, Mashiva Ruach Umorida Geshem. That's in the summer we say Morida Tal, right? In the winter in the summer we say he caused the dew to descend. In the winter we say he caused the wind to blow and the rain to fall. The wind to blow, Mashiva Ruach Morida Geshem, we start to say Thursday after the Torah by the Musaf service. Then we introduce it with a special prayer. Let's start to read a little bit of the prayer, and then
I just have one quick question
discuss
about the second part of the Amida talks about blessing the summer of the rain, but you don't do that.
We'll do it later. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Is there a connection between the prayer for the rain and the water blessing that was done in the temple?
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, absolutely, because the whole thing of water in the temple was to ask for rain. That's why we all sukkahs we ask for rain. The whole pointing, as I mentioned before, the pointing of the lulav is to ask for it should be good weather, should be the rain should come at the right time, and the fields will produce whatever they need to produce. Then it's a part of that we're asking for rain right after the end of Sukkot. Yes.
And that's the rainy season in Israel.
The rainy season, exactly. Now we all pray for rain because of Israel. Even you can say, I don't need rain in Cleveland, or even worse than that. In South Africa, in Australia, at the beginning of the summer, right? They don't need rain now. It's a big discussion in Jewish law. The bottom line is that the rain goes by, we are asking for rain for Israel. Even in a place that a person does not need rain, we are asking for rain because of the land of Israel. That's what the Jewish law is. Then we will start on the second paragraph on page 355. We'll start to we'll read about the angel who is designated to give the rain.
Afbri is designated as the name of the angel of rain, who overcasts the sky, covering it with clouds, emptying them and causing rain to fall. Water with which to crown the earth with herbage, let it not be held back for our neglected debts or sins. In the merit of the faithful patriarchs, protect Israel, who prays for rain. Then
we start to God, we turn to the angel of rain. His name is Afbri. I'm sure there is an explanation why this is his name, Afbri. But in any case, he's in charge of rain, and we turn to God, so to speak. He should tell the angel to give us the rain, if not for our sake, for the sake of our patriarchs.
Why do we have an angel in charge of rain, and we don't seem to have angels in charge of a lot of other things? I mean, is there an angel in charge of wind? Is there an angel in charge of...
There's an angel in charge of death, an angel in charge of life, in charge of life. We're not getting the whole discussion what exactly an angel is, but it's an expression of God, no matter how you look at it. It's a whole discussion. Do we pray for angels? We don't pray. We'll not go into it. The bottom line is here, at this point, that's a whole class in its own. In this, we're asking from God, He should tell Mr. Afbri to give us rain, right? In the merit of the patriarchs. And then we go to the bottom of the page. We are mentioning every one of the patriarchs. And why should God give us rain in His merit? And we mention anything about the patriarch that's connected with water, because you're asking for rain, that we mention all the things about the patriarchs who are connected with water, and we want their merit. In their merit, they should get rain. Just like we start in every Amidah. God, the God of the God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob. We mentioned the patriarch because they are our passport to God to get anything. You know who I am? Maybe I'm not such a Grace Chochem, but I'm the grandson of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The same thing is here. We come to ask for him. We tell God, maybe we don't deserve it. Maybe. But what about Abraham, and Isaac, and Jacob, and Moses, and Aaron? That's what you're talking about. Then let's start with the first one. You want to read the bottom of the page? Bottom.
Bottom.
Yes, remember.
Remember Abraham, our forefather, who followed you like water. You blessed him like a tree planted beside streams.
Okay, we will stop right here. Don't worry. Remember Abraham who followed you like water. It means Abraham, like water, penetrates everything. Abraham also was following God like water. It means to say, cleave to God. No matter how many times God, so to speak, pushed them away. What do I mean with that? God gave him tests, right? Challenges. There is 10 tests that God tested Abraham. God told him, go to Israel. He goes to Israel. There is a famine. He has to go to Egypt. Whatever God told them, the realities were just the opposite. All the way to the ultimate test of sacrificing Isaac. That Abraham was sticking to God no matter what. By the good and by the bad, no matter what. By thick and thin. Every time. That was he meant. He followed you like water. That's number one. Number two, he says,
You blessed him like a tree planted beside streams of water.
yeah, continue.
You protected him. You rescued him from fire and from water.
Okay, where was God rescuing Abraham from fire?
And Nimrod
furnace.
From the furnace, right? It's written in the Bible that Abraham came out from Ur Kasdim. Talmud says, the Medrash says that from the Ur Kasdim means from the furnace, from a fiery furnace. He was trying to. He broke his father's idols. The famous story. His father told them. His father had an idol store, factory. His father went out of town for a business trip. He told them, "You'll be in charge." Anybody who came to the store to buy an idol, he told them, "Are you crazy buying the idols? This cannot talk. Are you investing money? What are you doing?" Basically, he wasn't a good salesman. He actually turned away all the customers. If this was not enough, the day before his father came home, he took all the idols, he broke all the idols, and he put the sword in the end of the biggest idol, largest idol. His father comes, he says, "Who did it? What's going on here?" He told him, "This guy did it."
Typical kid.
He got so upset of him. Terach, Abraham's father, was a big macher in Nimrod's government. Nimrod was the superpower, the leader of the world. He reported to Nimrod that his son Abraham broke the idols, doesn't believe in the gods. That Nimrod announced, if you don't believe in the God, you deserve to be thrown into the furnace. You have a choice. Or you believe in our religion, or you're out. Abraham said he's ready to be thrown into the fire, right? Abraham had a brother. His name was Haran. Haran said, "I think Abraham is right." He said, "Sure?" He says, "Yeah." He said, "If Abraham is right, I'll stick. If Abraham comes out from the furnace, I'll stick with Abraham." Abraham was thrown into the furnace, came out from the furnace, and then they asked Haran, "No, you're with us or with there?" He said, "With Abraham." He was thrown into the furnace. He never came back. That means to say, Abraham was ready to give his life no matter what. Even he'll be burned. He didn't make the calculation that God will save him. Aaron, he was ready to go with the winner. You see, who wins in this fight? Oh, I'll go with them. He wasn't there for the belief in God. In any case, that's the story that Abraham was saved from fire. Where was Abraham saved from water? You saved them from fire and water. What's the story of the water?
Oh,
He's crossing the river, and Satan is challenging him.
When?
binding Isaac.
When Hashem told Abraham, go to offer Isaac as a sacrifice, told him, go there. He goes there, and there is a river in the middle. He goes into the river, and he gets to his nose, and he lifts up his eyes to heaven, and he says, "God, what's going on here? Help me!" and suddenly the whole thing disappeared. It was an illusion, whatever it was. It was a test of Abraham. But God saved them from this water. That God saved Abraham from fire and from water. Continue.
You tested him when he planted by every water. For his sake, do not hold back water.
For his sake, for what he did for you, God, for him alone, you deserve to give us water. That's Abraham. On page 356, we go to speak about Isaac.
Remember Isaac, who was born after the good tidings, at which it was said, "Let there be fetched a bit of water."
Okay, let's stop right here. Remember Isaac, that he was born, is the good tidings about his birth came after Abraham said, "Let there be fetched a bit of water." When Abraham said it, "Let there be fetched a bit of water," in which story was it?
Must have been in his tent when the three angels.
Abraham saw three, it was right after his birth, right? Abraham was sitting, the sun was very strong, and suddenly he saw three Arabs. He ran to them, he begged them to become his guests, to enter his tent. And then the first thing he said, "Let there be fetched a bit of water." Give them water. Then after this visit, by the end of the meal, they told them, "We are angels, we are messengers from God," and they gave him the good news that Isaac is going to be born. Then the birth of Isaac came in a connection with water. Because Abraham was ready to give guests, Arab idol worshippers, who were idol worshippers at that time, completely against Abraham's belief. He was still running after them, begging them to come in to be his guest, and giving them water. He deserved to get the good news. That was a test for Abraham. Okay.
You told his father to sacrifice him, to spill his blood like water.
Okay. Isaac told his father, Inani, right? Isaac did not have a problem to be sacrificed. After Isaac asked his father, "Where is the lamb? Where is the animal to be sacrificed?" What does his father told them? "God will see, my son should be the offering." And it's written, "Vayelchu shneim yachdav." Both of them went like nothing happened. They went like, Isaac continued to go like he didn't hear any special news. "Oh, me, okay." It's like you hear that the weather in Australia is not so warm today. Really bothers you, right? Oh, Isaac asked Abraham, who is going to be the sacrifice? Don't know. Hey, you. By the way, if you're asking, go ahead. I didn't think it's so important to tell you, but if you're asking, it's you. They continue to walk. He was ready to spill his blood like water. That's an unbelievable thing. It's even a bigger sacrifice than Abraham. Abraham was ready. It was also big sacrifice. It was the sacrifice of his only son, but Isaac. And it's not. Isaac didn't even make us think about it. It's not even considered by Isaac a test. It's Abraham's test, more so to speak, not Isaac's test, right? Okay.
He was careful in pouring out his heart in prayer like water.
Isaac, we read about Isaac more than about Abraham and Jacob, the idea of prayers. Isaac went out to pray in the field. And it's about him written, from him we learn the prayer of Mincha. We learn actually from the three forefathers. You can sit right there, anywhere you want. You learn from the three forefathers, the patriarchs established the prayers. Abraham established the prayer of the morning, because it's written, and Abraham got up early in the morning. Isaac established the prayer of the afternoon, the concept to pray in the afternoon, and Jacob in the evening. But by Isaac, more than by Abraham and Jacob, it's written clear that he prayed, so to speak. Lasuach. He went to pray. He poured out his heart with prayers, like water. And one more thing connected to Isaac with water.
He dug and found wells of water.
He dug and found wells of water. If you read about the history of Isaac, if you put the Wikipedia about Isaac, what are you going to find? What he did?
Everything Abraham did.
He found water.
You hear the following? It's not written. He did the best. He was known for hospitality. It's not written. The only thing that he did, he was digging for water, for wells. Then a simple level, digging for wells means, why dig? In the olden times, if you have water, you're the boss. In the middle of the desert, the one who controls the water is the boss. Today, there's a fight in Israel about water. Forget about them. Today, in the modern world, still, anybody who controls the water is the boss. It can make it, it can grow, it can make it a neighborhood. There is no water, people cannot live there. Forget about it. It's in the middle of the desert. But what is behind this business of digging? If it's written, Isaac digged a well, and the Philistines covered it up. He digged another well, and the Philistines covered it up. He digged another. What's going on with these wells? What do you want?
Wasn't he digging up also Abraham?
He was digging up his father's well, then digging up new wells. Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
very deep.
You're right. Chassidus says that in every person there is a living well of water, a well of living water, a stream of water. It means to say there is an neshama in every one of us, a spark of God, the living water. But it's covered up with a lot of dust and stones and garbage, covered up. Isaac taught us to dig and to find water. And it's up to us to dig. When you dig and look for water, if you didn't find water, what will tell you? You didn't dig deep enough. A little deeper, a little deeper, a little deeper, you'll find water. Impossible you will not find water. Every Jew has a neshama, has a connection to God. Every person. It's a matter of how deep you are ready to dig, how persistent you are. The Philistines came and covered it up. Don't get so scared. Dig another one. Dig another time. And another time. Abraham's wells were covered up, right? And then Isaac came and dig them again. That means to say, your father brought somebody closer to a little bit to Judaism, and the well of water was covered up with another layer of dust. Don't get all zukrochen. Dig another time. Do it further. That's the message from Isaac digging a well, the spiritual message from Isaac, from the digging of wells of Isaac. Then here we finish the prayer. For the sake of his righteousness, go ahead.
Favor on which an abundance of water.
And give us abundance of water. For Isaac, if so many stories Isaac with water, for his water, give us water. Now comes Jacob. We kind of come to God and say, hey, Abraham, not enough. Wait, Isaac, we take out another cow. Jacob, how about this? How about this? All of them together, he cannot tell us no. Let's see the story with Jacob. Remember Jacob.
Remember Jacob, who carried his staff and crossed the Jordan's water.
Okay, let's stop right here. When was it?
The Yabok River with the angel that he wrestled with.
The Yabok River. It was with a staff. He crossed the water. He crossed the river, the Jordan. The Jordan.
No, the Yabok.
No, where is it? He said the Jordan.
Jordan, that's it, Jordan.
The Jordan water. Which Jordan was it?
I guess when he was coming back after he met up with Esau.
It was Jordan. The Jordan water was written in the Bible. I don't know. Do you remember?
I know it's the Yabok River.
Yabok River. Yeah, it's not in the Jordan River. The Medrash says that when he was running away from Esau, he says later Jacob says in his prayer, I crossed the river with a staff, and now I have two camps. Remember that line? That he ran away, he crossed the river with a staff, and according to Medrash, he split the river with the staff, and that's how he was able to cross. That he crossed the Jordan River with his staff. That's what it says here. Remember Jacob, who carried his staff and crossed the river, the Jordan River, on the way there, on the way to Laban, not on the way back. Maybe on the way back too, but on the way there. I think that's what it refers to. Okay.
He united his heart with God and rolled the stone off the mouth of the well of water.
Okay. When was this? He rolled the
Was
stone
with
up,
that- with his wife?
and he made Rachel. It's interesting how he says it. He united his heart with God and rolled the stone off the mouth of the well of water. What happened when what he did before he removed the stone? Or right after? I don't remember. It was,
Fed or give the camels water.
no, that was
wrong story.
When he
Eliezer.
wept, you talking about when he wept? On,
He wept and he did what?
kissed her.
He kissed her. He kissed Rachel. That a person can read later. Kissed Rachel. He saw it the first time he already kissed her. Then that here in the prayer we say, united his heart with God and rolled the stone out of the mouth. It means to say it was a complete spiritual purpose kiss. It was not just an affectionate kiss that he was like any regular human being. He did it for the sake of God because he felt that Rachel is his bashert, and from Rachel supposed to be born his continuation. That was Joseph, and that was the future of the Jewish people. Then he says he united his heart with God and then removed the stone from the well of water. He did it by himself. What many people took to do, he was able to do it by himself. It was like a miracle, and God gave him the strength. He was united with God. Go ahead.
As when he wrestled with an angel composed of fire and water.
He wrestled with an angel, right? With an angel. An angel is composed from fire and water. What does this mean?
We talked about that before, about the fact that like Chesed and Gevurah, and only God unites them together, that they're not fighting, so to speak, with each other.
And what we want to say that our angel is a combination of fire and water. What do you want to say with that? We just spoke about angels, right? In the beginning, Avbri, Mr. Avbri, and all the other angels, all our friends. Then what is this angel is a combination of fire and water. What do you want to say? Obviously, it's not a physical thing, right? Angels are not a physical thing. They're not something you can touch and you can feel and you can see. And what does this mean? It means to say fire and water can be together, can coexist. What do you think?
Normally water puts out fire.
Or the normally will put out all the water will put out the fire, or the fire will evaporate the water. One of these two. They cannot exist together.
Mm-hmm.
It means they are total opposites. When you want to say about two people, they cannot be in the same room. So it's like fire and water, right? It means they cannot be together, no matter how you slice it. God, the angel, is the impossible. That's what you want to say about the angel. That it's impossible. It's like fire and water together. It's something that's beyond human understanding. That's what we say in the prayer. We say in every Kaddish, Oseh shalom bimromav, right? U yaseh shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael. What Oseh shalom bimromav? The one who makes peace in the above, in the heavens, should bring peace down. The one who makes peace between fire and water, the one who is who is doing the impossible above, come and make the impossible here down below. Make peace between two Jews. Let's see if we can combine fire and water. That's what he says. An angel, it's a combination of fire and water, means, he said it in the Kabbalistic language, Chesed and Gvura, there is kindness and there is strictness, and there is the combination of these two. It means to say, kindness and strictness will combine in front of God. No matter how you slice it, what it means is the impossible. That's what an angel is. That's what God is. Something that you cannot understand, the impossible. That it doesn't make sense. That's what means the combination of fire and water. Jacob was fighting with an angel. And he won the fight with an angel who is the powers of God. How the wrestling was, if it was a fist fight or not, it doesn't make a difference. It was a certain type of a struggle that took place. And eventually he won the fight, the wrestling. Therefore,
Therefore you promised to be with him in fire and in water.
God promised to Abraham to be with him in fire and in water. When? Jacob was afraid to go. He had a dream. And God told him in the dream, I'll be with you wherever you go, and I'll bring you back, and you have nothing to worry, right? He promised him to be with him in fire and in water. And then he actually, when Jacob went again to Egypt down to see Joseph, God again told him, don't be afraid to go to Egypt. I will be with you and I will bring you back out of them. That Jacob got the best promises from God. From all the forefathers, Jacob got the best ones. They got to protect him. God basically protect him in fire and water. Therefore,
For his sake, do not hold back water.
okay, now we have Abraham history with water, Isaac's history with water, Jacob history with water. Very nice. Now we'll go to Moses.
Remember Moses, who was drawn out in a wicker box from the water, they said.
Okay, we can work from the water. That we all know the story, right? Thank God for the movie, we know the story. Moses in the water, everybody knows. Okay,
He drew water for us and gave the sheep water to drink.
okay. Where was this? Who says that? Who said it?
That was for the girls at the well.
Very good. At the well, when he ran away from Egypt, he came to Midian. And he met the daughters of Jethro who were assaulted by other people. And he came and he saved them. And they came early home. That his father asked him, what happened? He says, we found a guy, an Egyptian guy, and he drew, and that's what they said, he drew water for us and gave the sheep water to drink. And then Jethro said, and you met such a young, handsome man and you didn't bring him home? He has 7 girls? Then that was the story. That's what we are quoting from this story. Go ahead.
When your cherished people thirsted for water, he struck the rock, and there streamed forth water.
Was this a good story or a bad story? He struck the rock and gave water.
Depends on your perspective.
Which story is he talking about?
The second one where he struck the rock.
Maybe about
I'm
the first
thinking
one.
it's the first one.
Maybe
That was the good
first
one where we followed.
Yeah, maybe we are mentioning here all the merit of Moses. We want to mention the good stories, the merit of Moses, where he did good things, and therefore we should get water. The second story doesn't sound so complimentary, right? Then obviously it's the first story. Then we're talking about the first story or the second story.
You just said the first story.
Who said?
We did.
I did.
Who's on first?
Now are we talking about the second story or the first story?
The second
First.
story.
How you know? Don't guess. You bring proof. Mister, we need proofs there.
Well, I'll let you.
Not guessing.
Because the first time, the water did stream forth right
Mhm.
away. The only thing
He hit the rock too.
yeah,
First time he hit the
The first
rock.
time.
And he,
that's why the second time when he hit the rock, he did it wrong because God said, don't hit the rock.
yeah, but he got water the second time too, right?
Yes, but it didn't stream forth right away.
You say something, but
Cherished people?
cherish, what's cherish? Loved people.
Yeah. good luck.
No, they were loved. When were they loved? They were loved always. Then are we talking about the second story or the first story?
The first.
The second.
You have
Oh.
told us,
Both.
yeah, in the
What?
Oh, you in the past?
well, in the second story that Moses deliberately
Yeah,
had done
but
that.
first of all, let's see here what you're talking about. Can we know from this story, from this line, here is where English loses the translation. How we called the rock? I say a rock in Hebrew.
Kefa is Aramaic. But
What?
Kefa is Aramaic. I don't
Oh,
know if
yes, I'm
it's
in Hebrew.
Hebrew.
There is a one name the Torah calls the rock in the first story, and another name the Torah calls the rock in the second story. Here it's written how it's translated: rock, rock, rock. English, it's all the same.
So
So
what's the other
what they
one?
called in the first story the rock.
Let me ask you a question about the rock. You know, sometimes God's called the rock. Is it the same word?
No, obviously it's not.
Ah,
Is it the same word when we refer to God as the rock, our rock?
yeah.
Otherwise, you just read it right here, right?
It's interesting that you mentioned that. There is where you will refer to God as a rock. Which prayer?
Rock and my Redeemer.
Rock and
Ah, rock in our
Rock.
Redeemer. Yeah, where? God is my rock and my redeemer.
Probably Amida.
In the Amida? We're referring to God as a rock. No, where you remember that?
Prayer, not where.
Hashem tzuri v'goali. Very good, yes.
Penitential. I mean, like a.
Here it is. Here it's strength. Sometimes it says strength is called. They translate the word rak to the word strength, not rak. There is Lord Hashem. Tzur chayai. Where is it? God is my rock and my redeemer. Where is this written?
Probably in Psalms.
I know that. I see that. You're good today. Betzu Yeromemeni. The word is here. Let's see how it translated here. Behold, he will hide me in his tabernacle and there's give me. He will rise above my enemies. Okay, rock, here it translated rock. He will lift me upon a rock. Rock is two words, Tzur and Sela.
Sela?
Sela. Tzur means the rock. Whenever you say about God, for example, they say not in our Siddur, but there is in another Siddur, they say Tzur Israel v'goalo. Tzur Israel, kum be'ezrat Israel. We say it right before the Amidah. There is even a song, Tzur Israel, kum be'ezrat. There is a special song. I'm sure if you go to synagogue, you'll hear it by you. Tzur Israel. And we say it in the prayers, in the Amidah of the high holidays, we say it quite a few times. We say it in the right here, Hashem Tzuri v'goali, we say it a few times. In every Amidah, before we end the Amidah, if you want, I'll show you. You can open it on page 52, 53. The middle of the page. Saying, may the word of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable before you, Lord, my strength and my redeemer. In Hebrew, it's Hashem Tzuri. Tzur means God is my rock and my redeemer. That's the real translation. Then Tzur is the name of God. Tzur means a rock. Sela means also a rock. At the first story, the rock is named in the Bible about when we talk about Moses and the rock is named in the Bible Tzur. In the beginning of the 4 years. And God told them, go ve'ikita batzur. Eat the tzur, the rock. And the second story, God told them, you should speak to the Sela. Then if you want to know if he talks about the first story, the second story, we know what he's using, Tzur or Sela. You know what he's using here in the Hebrew side? Ala Sela ach. You should eat the Sela. And came out water. Obviously, that we are referring to the second story. Right? Ala Sela ach vayetzu mayim. Not talking about the Tzur, we're talking about the Sela.
What's the reason then? Of this.
The question is, why are we mentioning a story that Moses was punished for? And actually looks like the bad thing. I think that Moses disappointed God, he did something bad. And every time when it's written in the Bible that Moses does not enter the land of Israel, it's written because he hit the rock and he didn't speak to the rock. Every time when it's written in the Bible that Moses does not enter the land of Israel, it's written the reason for it. Because he hit the rock. Here we're trying to find to wake by God the desire to give us water. That we want to bring all the good stories that because of this God should give us water. Then if I would be writing it, I would write, Ala Tzur ach. Remember the story with the Tzur. God told him to hit the rock and he hit the rock. It was beautiful. Everybody got water. We mentioned that Aracela, that we spoke about it in the past. Then the idea is Moses. Why it was so important for God that Moses should speak to the rock and not eat the rock? So eat the rock. What's the bottom line? The bottom line is to get water to the people. He delivered. What do you want from him? Eat the rock. What are you getting into details?
Because listening.
Because God wanted the Jewish people should take a lesson from the rock. And as Rashi puts it, if a rock is listening to me, how dare you don't listen to me? They should be inspired. We should look at the rock and say, if a rock listens to God, we better start to listen too. That's what Moses was afraid. Moses was afraid that the rock will listen, and the Jews are more stubborn than rocks. The Jews are still not listening. Yeah, the rock listens, but we don't. Moses couldn't bear the idea that he will be the cause to make the Jews look bad. That he said, I'd rather eat the rock than make the Jews look bad. I'll be punished, be it. Moses was the ultimate defender of the Jewish people. Moses was the middleman, chosen by God, defending the Jewish people. Hired by God, but work for the Jews, for free. Counterproductive, basically, to God, so to speak. We are completing the Torah on Friday morning, completing the Torah. It's written there, the last 8 lines is a famous a discussion, who wrote the last 8 lines of the Torah. Because it's written, and Moses died. Who wrote it? The rest of the Torah was written by Moses, but the last 8 verses, who wrote it? Or 6 verses, whatever it is. Then the Talmud, there is 2 opinions. One opinion says the end was written by Joshua. Joshua finished the Torah. The other opinion says Moses wrote it with tears in his eyes. Then what's written there? It's written all the compliments about Moses. It's like a eulogy. And then the last line of the Torah is all the great things that Moses did in front of the eyes of the whole Jewish people, of all the children of Israel. What was the great things that Moses did? If I would ask you, what are the great things that Moses did? What are the greatest things that Moses did?
You have the Ten Commandments.
You have the Ten Commandments.
You
You would say, split the sea, 10 plagues, pour down the manna. I mean, Moses has a resume from here until tomorrow. What Rashi writes? Rashi writes that he broke the tablets. The greatest thing that Moses did, he broke the tablets. Really? Why? Why Moses broke the tablets? Moses went down from Mount Sinai and he knew in the tablet it's written, do not worship idols. And the Jews are worshipping idols. And he knew if he delivers the tablets, the Jews deserve that because they disobeyed the law. He said, I'm not delivering the contract. That he didn't put it on the side. You know, when you have an expensive thing of China, you don't break it. You put it on the side, then you take a stick and you give it to somebody in Israel. Moses smashed the tablets, not because he was angry. Sure, he was angry that the Jews made the golden calf. But he smashed the tablets because he wanted to save the Jewish people from being destroyed. Moses was basically a delivery man. He was the UPS guy who gave him permission to break the tablets. God gave him tablet that he created the stone and he created the writing. Moses had no idea he's going to get another set. Moses thought maybe he will be punished, he will be killed for this. Who gave him permission? He would disappear the moment he break the tablets. He's in fire, gone. Moses didn't think another twice. When it was a question, the Jews or the Torah, he said, I go for the Jews. Yet Torah, nicht Torah, I need the Jews. He was the ultimate defender of the Jewish people. Here was the same story. He wanted to eat the rock. He didn't want to make the Jews look bad. And we just learned 2 weeks ago a similar story about Jonah. Why Jonah didn't want to deliver the message to Nineveh? Because he said, if I will go to the Gentiles and they will repent, and then the Jews will not repent, the Jews will look terrible. Look, these people never read a prophet before, never went to synagogue, never did anything, and they are doing tshuva. And you guys have prophets and this and this and this, and look, that Jonah didn't want to do it. that the true prophet, what's a prophet? What's a leader of the Jewish people? Somebody who always protects the Jewish people. Is never on God's side. On the other hand was a prophet who tried to be on God's side and he lost his job. Who was it? Elijah. God comes to Mount Sinai, Elijah, after 40 days of not eating and drinking. He was a little irritated, maybe. God asked him, what do you want, Elijah? He says, oh, you people have forsaken your covenant, and they killed all the prophets, and they want to kill me. Then he hears the sound, quiet, and then God asked him the same question, what do you want, Elijah? Well, God didn't hear good the first time. He has a hearing issue. Obviously, he wanted to hear something different. Elijah repeated the same thing. I told him, okay, then go and appoint Elisha as the next prophet. A new job is done. Then what we bring here, we mentioned Moses. What we're saying here, we are bringing it as one more reason to give us water. Look what Moses did. Look who Moses was. He was ready to lose his right to enter the land of Israel, or whatever will be, just not to make the Jews look bad, not to get them in trouble, just not make them look bad. Therefore, we mention it on the list of the resume that we want water. We mentioned it for Moses, and therefore, for his sake,
For the sake of his righteousness,
Yes.
favor us with an abundance of water.
Beautiful. Now we know. That's a good reason why we come to God with Moses. Oh, that's a gerät. Now we'll go to Aaron.
Remember Aaron the high priest in charge of the Beit HaMikdash, who on Yom Kippur immersed himself 5 times in water.
5 times in water. Immersed himself 5 times in water. We are not allowed to take a shower on Yom Kippur, right? Not allowed to immerse himself even once in water. And the high priest immersed himself 5 times in water. Because every time when he changed the set of clothing, he immersed himself. There is a Talmudic law, very interesting. This coming year is a leap year. Right? An extra month. Now, that means everybody is already worried that next Sukkot will be cold, right? Jewish people, if they cannot worry for today, people sitting in my sukkah, oh, it's so nice, yeah, but next year, you have to worry about something. Not this year, next year, 2 years from now. Now, think about the high priest. The high priest has to go into the mikveh. It wasn't like warm mikvehs like we have now, beautiful saunas, and they try to warm this up a little schleppy way, For him, if it's a month earlier or a month later, makes a big difference, right? If it's a leap year or not. Then now the leap year is in the calendar. It's a system. Every 19 years there is, I think, 7 leap years or something like this, or 9 leap years. I don't remember exactly. Right? But then, in biblical times, the Beit Din used to make that year the decision, right, by Adar before Purim, a month before Pesach, when they saw that the snow, the ways to Jerusalem are still wet and it's winter. They made the decision to add another month. The Talmud makes an amazing statement that the high priest and the king couldn't be a part of the decision making, a part of the discussion. Why? Because they have an interest. What are the interests of the king and the high priest? The king used to pay salaries by the year in that time. Another month. Sure, he wants another month. He wants every year to be a leap year of 13 months, not 12 months. I promised you for the year $100,000. I get another month for free. Sure, he wants a leap year. The high priest, he wants not to have a leap year because he wants the mikveh should be a little less color. There's a story once a man came into the Rebbe and he told them, I'm disappointed with the rabbis. They're all self-interest. This is people who learn Torah. This is holy people. That's what the Rebbe told them. Chill a little bit. The Rebbe told them this law. The Rebbe told them, think about it. The high priest enters the Holy of Holies, right? What could be a holier person? Obviously, he's a very holy person. And he survives. And he comes out and he atones for the sin of the whole Jewish people. He's the one who gets the deal for the Jewish people. The Talmud is afraid, maybe, what's the difference? How many degrees of colder or warmer will be in 1 month in Israel. It's not like the different here between snow or this. A little cooler. It's not like a huge difference. After all, a month later in Israel, October in Israel or the end of September is not the end of the world. Still, we don't want them to be a part of it, because in the back of his mind, he will never think it's doing it because of that. But somewhere, he will feel cooler. He will think differently. It means to say, the Torah shows us that nobody is perfect. And you have to recognize it. Oh, me will not affect this thing. No such thing. No such statements. It affects everyone. Everyone is being affected by everything. Then here, this is the Kohen Gadol who is going 5 times to immerse in the mikveh. And you know, on Yom Kippur, the Kohen Gadol there is 5 prayers, you know, because he used to go 5 times to the mikveh. We have the Kol Nidre service, the morning service, Shachrit, Musaf, Minche, Neile. 5 prayers. 5. It's corresponding to the 5 levels of the soul. Nefesh, that means the breath of life. Ruach means the spirit. Neshama means the soul. Then there is another higher 2 levels, Chaye and Yechida, the highest levels of the soul. Yechida is like the ultimate touch that a Jew has with God, that he can never lose it. That's why we are doing today, what I mean to say, we are doing now 5 prayers. It's only 5 on Yom Kippur. That's number 1 about the high priest. Okay, what else we know about him with water?
He cleansed and washed his hands with sacred water. He called out the order of sprinkling of the blood and sprinkled, and the people were purified as with water.
Okay, he cleansed and washed his hand with sacred water, and then he called out the order of the sprinkling of the blood. He sprinkled, and the people were purified as with water. Which sprinkling is he talking about?
The red heifer.
The red heifer, exactly. It used to stand on like some type of a high spot, and it should spritz on all the people in the bottom, and was enough water. People were sometimes even slipping because it was so much water, such a mess with water was there. And that's how they used to purify anybody who touched a dead body, right? Anybody who touched a dead body or was under the same roof as the dead body is considered impure. And for this, he cannot enter the temple. He cannot walk on the Temple Mount. That's one of the reasons why we cannot go now on the Temple Mountain in Jerusalem, because we are impure, and you're not allowed to. An impure person is not allowed to walk there.
Only walk?
Not go there. Yeah, even walk.
But they take us there.
No.
You're
On the
right.
Temple
They
Mount.
take us there.
I was there.
On top?
Yeah.
Oh.
You're not allowed to go there.
I didn't know that.
I know you didn't know what I do. That's why I come to this class. Now you know. Really. There is some advertisement not to go, but most of the people just don't know. They're just taking them. There is maybe certain parts we know is allowed, but we don't know exactly where you're allowed to go, where you're not. Therefore we don't go there. No religious Jew goes there ever, because we are impure, and we have to be sprinkled with the red heifer. We didn't have a red heifer for a long, long time. In Jewish history, there were 9 red heifers. Have you read about the red heifer? The red heifer is a little calf that is only red here. And this, you offer it as a sacrifice, and then the meat is being burned. The whole thing is being burned, and the ashes are being put in water, and that was used to be sprinkled on the people who were impure. Now, in Jewish history, there were only 9 red heifer made. So much talking about the red heifer. The whole Jewish history, 9. The 10th will do the Moshiach. May he come speedily, right? Then that's what he's talking about, the springing of the water. Go ahead. He removed himself
From a people swift as water.
What is this? He removed himself from a people swift as water. Maybe is he talking about during the golden calf that he removed himself? He actually didn't remove himself. He was a part of it. I don't know. I have to check this out. I don't know. what it refers to it. For his sake,
Do not hold back water.
beautiful. Now we come to the last one.
Remember the 12 tribes whom you brought across the split waters.
Waters plural. Once, right? Where's that? How many times God split the water for the Jews? Once Moses split the Sea of Reed, right? And the other time when they split the Jordan by Joshua. Go ahead. Okay.
For whom you have sweetened the bitterness of the water.
When was this happening?
Tomorrow?
In Mara, the Jews came to a place, it was bitter water. They complained to Moses as usual. And Moses turned to God, and God told him he should throw. What should he throw there inside?
Hyssop.
Kind of wood.
Yes, some type of
Hyssoptical.
aseptical. What is this?
I don't know.
I don't know either. And he sweetened the water. When there is another story of this, a similar story in the Bible? Not in the 5 books of Moses.
Give us a clue.
If I give you a clue. No. When it's in the Bible, it's a story. Over the years we learned that once here. There was a time we learned stories from the prophets. A few years ago, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we learned about this story with the prophet, that the people came to him and they complained that the water of this place are very bad. It's a good place, but the water is bad. Which place was it?
Place.
No? Who was the prophet? Elisha. Remember the story with Elisha?
I remember the story.
Don't remember the story? Elisha was, I think it was Jericho. For some reason I remember Jericho. He came and they told them the place is a good place, but the water, people die from the water. That he took, what he took? He took a little bit of honey or salt. I don't remember what he did, and he put into the water, and the water became good, healthy. I thought you remember the story.
What was it? What city did you say?
I think Jericho for some reason.
I thought you couldn't go back to that city.
I know. Somebody has a iPhone.
Rabbi Google.
Rabbi Google remember better than me which city it was. And it was Elisha for sure. I don't remember what he threw into the water, but he threw into the water, he sweetened the water.
For
Go ahead, continue, Minon.
the blood of their progeny was spilled for your sake like water.
Mm-hmm.
Turn to us, for our soul is engulfed with tribulations as with water.
Our soul is engulfed with tribulation as water. It means to say every person, that the life that we have, our troubles, are like we're drowning. It's like the bad waters of the flood from Noah. And we are like trying to survive, trying to keep when a person says I try to keep my head above the water, it's true. Yeah, we are drowning, and the job is to pull out the people who are drowning. That's the job of us, to pull ourselves out of the water and to save all the people who are drowning into the water. Get them on the boat. That he says, save us, for our soul is engulfed with tribulation as with water. Go ahead, for their sake.
For the sake of their righteousness, favor us with an abundance of water.
Mm-hmm. And now we come to the ultimate prayer we'll be asking from Hashem. Go ahead.
For you are the Lord our God, who causes the wind to blow and the rain to fall.
Continue. No, you're not going too far. Right here in the bottom.
Oh. For a blessing and not for a curse.
Yeah, we ask from God, may the rain be for a blessing and not for a curse, because some water could be for a curse. Go ahead.
For life and not for death.
God forbid, if you too much water can wipe out a city.
For plenty and not for scarcity.
What's scarcity? Should be a lot of water. Should be a lot of food.
Too little.
Instead, it should be too little. That's the prayer that we say Thursday morning. You're all invited.
Mhm.
It's around, this prayer will be recited around 12 o'clock probably. After there is Easter service on Thursday. And you are, go ahead,
So Lucia at Jericho.
at Jericho, right? And what do you put into the water?
It says,
Oh, we actually have it in the prayer book. Go ahead.
which is like the salt cast into the water by Elisha.
So salt.
Salt. You're reading from a prayer. Just turn back to page 352. You'll see it right there. And actually, here the prayer compares the two stories that I just mentioned. And you look on page 352, the third paragraph in the middle. Like the waters of Mara by Moses and like the waters of Jericho by Elisha. You see it? Then the Torah, here in the prayer book, we're already comparing these two stories right away.
What page is it?
352. 352.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Right here, the third paragraph. You see the third paragraph? Yeah, in the middle. You pick up your finger a little bit. No, you're right here. You're right.
Oh,
No.
it's there at the bottom. Yeah.
And we are obviously, God willing, God will give us a rainy year, not only here but in Israel, and we should have enough rain, and with rain should come all the blessings.
Question for you about a famous prayer for rain. We have a figure, Honi
Choni HaMe'ager, yeah,
Hamagel,
yes.
who's famous